Yes, this is a hardcore grind interview with the dynamic publisher, author, literary concierge, Joylynn M. Ross. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. I am so glad to be here for this amazing interview. It's been too long.
I know. Listen, you are always cooking in your creative kitchen, but I always like to ask a go moment question, right? Because, even though you've been doing it for so long, you're always branding, right? And in our go moments, we're always concerned about others before we tend to move our feet. We're worried about how they move, what they do. And then sometimes when it comes to us, we kind of deal in lack and we pause a bit. What was your go moment like when you decided to go into the publishing industry?
The go moment was for me to be able to tell my story without needing validation. And that's truly the backbone of my entire brand, whether it's me as an author, and I write under 5 different names. So whether it's author Joylynn, Jossel, whether it's Joy, whether it's E in Joy, whether it's in Joy, or whether it's Joylynn Ross. It's about storytelling. It's about sharing the message, the testimony that can touch someone's life, change someone's life, even save someone's life. So when I went from individual branding to saying, hey, I want to be able to share this opportunity with everyone else in the world who has a story that they want to share, I want to give them access to the tools, the information, the systems, the strategies, what to do, what not to do, to be able to tell their stories as well without industry gatekeepers, without thinking they need validation from any other entity, agency, organization, person, place, or thing. So in my goal moment, it was about making sure that the journey that I've taken in my lifetime, over my years, before I start penning my books, because whether I'm penning fiction or nonfiction, even children's book, poetry, it's all about the journey that I've been on in my life and sharing that journey. And so when I'm in the role and the position where I'm helping other people, it's still about sharing that journey. It's about my years of experience in the literary industry. Let's take, for example, when I'm putting out one of my writing and publishing resources, it's about that journey and everything, every nugget, every jewel, every gem that I picked up along that journey, every mistake I made, not just the successes and wins, but the failures and the losses, so that it can shorten the learning curve for someone else who wants to share their story, regardless of which path they choose to share it, whether it's on a blog, whether it's a self-published book, a traditionally published book, an e-book only, a print book, whether it's a legacy book where nobody will see it till they pass away and is read at their funeral or in their trust. However it is, just the goal is to make sure that everyone, again, with the story to tell, testimony to share, a message to deliver, has the access. And in my goal moment, I didn't want to break through glass ceilings. I didn't want to cut up my hands, I don't want to mess up my manicure. I didn't want to, break down no doors. I didn't want to wait to get it invited to somebody else's table. Why do all of that? Why bang on somebody else's door, somebody else's dressing room with their golden star on it when God's got an entire building for you? And so that's what I wanted to do, position myself and make sure that anyone that I connected with who wanted that type of information, had those same goals per se, that they could do the same, that they could build their own empire, not just break through somebody else's glass ceiling, not wait to get invited to sit at someone else's table, not to be, wait to break down doors, kick down doors, all that unnecessary fighting, all those unnecessary battles. When there's an entire empire with your name on it, okay, and a whole building, you worrying about ceilings and tables and doors, and there's a whole building, and that was the goal. So in that goal moment, that was my motivation, not just about me and my stories, but everybody who, was operating under the guise or the misrepresentation, not misrepresentation, but the, what is the word that I'm searching for, that they, needed validation, that they needed a publishing house, that they needed an editor, not editor, but that they needed an agent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But you're right. Because even like when I talk to clients, I always let people know you absolutely can do it. You don't have to wait for somebody to tell you that you're great to do whatever it is that you want to do. So always have a plan. When you feel like you want to be published under a publishing house, well, then you need to have a standalone book. You need to have something where you can break from right back to yourself. You never want to just give somebody all of you. You're worthy to be able to do it on your own, at your own speed, the way you want. But a lot of times we're programmed to move in a certain way because that's what the success that we see looks like. And it comes from not knowing. And like you said, you can't gatekeep it. You got to be able to share what you know so that they know that there are other ways for you to get where you want to go.
Absolutely. And that their gold mind, their head, their mind, M-I-N-D, is their gold mine. That is their intellectual property. That is their IP. And regardless whether it's a pandemic and somebody is saying XYZ isn't essential, you have control. You have control over your income. It's called freedom. You have freedom over your finances. You have location freedom. You can move however you want to move in silence, out loud. You can run your operations however you want to run them, and freedom of time. And so that's what it's all about, knowing that it's about IP. It's about more than a book. It's about more than an audio book, digital book, printed book, or what have you. It's about intellectual property. It's about your gold mine. Every thought, idea, and concept, that's how a business starts. That's how a book starts, with a thought, an idea, and a concept. So it makes sense in your head and sense in your bank account to turn your book, your IP, intellectual property, into a business.
I love it. Now, Black women who can write is powerful. What does that power mean to you?
Everybody is powerful, and it's about using it. It's about actually using that power. We hear a lot people quote, knowledge is power. It's not. It's the implementation. It's the execution. It's the use of that knowledge. Otherwise, it's just knowledge. It's just sitting there. It's not powerful. It's idle. It's dormant. And that's what our stories are. That's what our stories are. That's within us. They're in there, and we have to implement and execute and do something with those stories, do something with our journeys to become powerful and realize the impact that it can have on society, in our communities, in the world as a whole. And so having that type of power, you sometimes have to, decide, are you going to use your powers for good or evil? That's with anything. Life is a story. Life is about good versus evil constantly. And it's about how are you going to use that power, because being an influencer can be a double-edged sword. It truly can. So it feels good. That's why I got into writing in the first place. I was reading my journal in elementary school. Remember when your teachers would make you write a journal entry when you would come back from Christmas break or spring break or Thanksgiving break and have you write about what you did over the break? And I remember making up something one time. I made up that I went to Disney World. And I remember writing it so well that the teacher had me stand up in front of the class and share my journal entry, and I'm reading it. And I just remember looking over my little journal notebook at my classmates. They were so engaged in every word I was saying. I had their attention. They may have not noticed me any other day of the year in that classroom, but on that day, I had everybody's attention with the powers of my words. That's when I realized how powerful a story is, how powerful a storyteller is. I could rule the world. I could create any world I wanted to create. It could rain, it could snow, it could be paradise, it could be hell. And having that power was like a high. And so I will say it feels good. It really feels good, but what feels better is empowering the powerful. Empowering the powerful, the people who come and they know they have that powerful story inside of them, but they don't know what to do with it. So being able to equip and empower them, because, honey, individually we can all make a difference, but together we make an impact. So all of these impactful stories that we put out there, watch out.
I love it. Now, with all the unique skills you possess, what do you love most about your pen style?
About did you say my pen?
Uh-huh.
My pen style?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you know I write under so many different genres, and that's probably what I love the most is that my style is so out of the box. You know, I'm not boxed in with my style. Now, I do the readers a favor by writing under 5 different names because I have 5 different styles and genres. So I can't even, you might as well call me the literary box cutter because I'm just cutting myself out of boxes. I'm cutting my clients out of boxes because we think we have to have this certain style. We all have a voice. Our characters have a voice, even if it's nonfiction. We're the character, you know? So we have this voice, but I personally, I'm not locked down to a certain style, but with my name and the name that's attached to my writings, people have an expectation. I wouldn't even say a style of writing, but they have an expectation, which is actually what a brand is. And I always say, don't try to build a brand, be a brand. Be a brand on purpose because you don't want people to accidentally brand you. You don't want people to accidentally box you in and lock you in because you haven't defined it for yourself. And so I would just say, you know, my style is versatile. Look, I sound like LL Cool J or the old school rappers, don't I? My style is versatile.
Right. And you know what? That does take me into my next question because what do you feel is essential in defining one's brand?
And like I said before, a lot of times, and we hear it all the time, you have to build a brand, you have to build a brand. What is essential is, like I said, just being that brand. Because one of the hardest things to do is to try to be who you want people to think you are versus being who you actually are. So just keeping that in mind. I am a brand. I don't have to create one. I don't have to build one. I just have to be one, which is my true, authentic self. because who you portray yourself to be online is who you have to portray yourself to be when you're in a room with those same people that you connect with online. Because the pandemic's over. You can't hide behind a computer no more. In-person events are back in style.
Oh, yeah, this is over.
Yeah, so you need to be who you say you are. And that is essential in being a brand.
Absolutely. And you have displayed what we, as readers and authors who are new, as we see you as successful. You successfully conquered the literary industry, and you moved yourself around into so many different other industries from that. What are your 8 top most important elements when creating a powerful brand? We already know that we are the brand, but you know how they say books are a business. And when it deals with business, what do you feel are the 8 top elements that's needed to be successful?
For one, you have to be able to define what your personal measure of success is. Because success looks differently on everybody. So, for one, define what your personal measure of success is. 2, understand, realize, and be aware that success looks different on everyone. 3, make sure you're not comparing your planting season with someone else's harvest season. Because a lot of times we try to measure our success against what the next person who's doing. So you have to make sure that you're not measuring your planting season to someone else's harvest season when it comes to success. I think that's 3. Number 4 is you want to make sure you understand that overnight success takes a whole lot of nights.
Yeah.
Overnight success takes a whole lot of nights, okay? 5th, you also have to understand that the most successful people in the world did everything right after doing everything wrong. I would say that number 6, when it comes to, again, being successful, is knowing how to move past the failures. Know how and when it's time to move past a failure. You got to have that spirit of discernment. And I would say that's probably number 7, having a spirit of discernment and wisdom. Having a spirit of discernment and wisdom. And lastly, I just had it on my tip of my tongue, and it's the one. So let me think of it. Let me think on this one, the last one. I just had it. It slipped. We got to go back to it because it was the one. But let me think. It was the one. I had it on the tip of my tongue. Elements of success. Okay, I got it. Knowing that success is not self-made.
Say that word.
Success is not self-made. So all of that self-made millionaires, self-made this, self-made that, nobody did anything by themselves. And for one, you don't even want that to be your testimony. Why do you want to do this by yourself? Why do you want that to be your swan song? Why do you want that to be your testimony? Connections, relationships. If you have said, what is the one top thing, even though I'm saying this last, this is the one thing. real relationships. REALATIONSHIPS. Real relationships. Connections. Success is not self-made, nor do you want it to be. There are too many resources out here. There are too many people. And people say, you know, God told me to do this, and God gave me a vision. Then God surely gave you provisions, and surely God gave you resources. We all have our seasons of isolation. But at the same time, God's not going to have you working hard versus smart.
Yeah.
And so you have to realize this isn't something you want to do alone. And even if, like I tell people all the time, my pronouns are we, us, and our. We, us, and our. We, me and God, us, me and Jesus, our, me, and the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit don't get nothing wrong. The Holy Spirit don't have to guess about nothing. The Holy Spirit knows everything. So if you go on and keep those pronouns as we, us, and our, you'll never be on the journey alone, for one, and you will get more things right than you get wrong.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Now, I mean, because you've done it. You've had your book, and you call yourself a Christian. It's been turned into a movie. It's gone overseas. How does that make you feel to be able to level up into another form of artistry? You know, it's artistry.
It really, yeah, it really feels good. But I will admit, I got what I call the Kobe Bryant effect, or the Kobe Bryant mentality. Yeah, we won the championship. Let's celebrate, okay? Get your celebration on. Acknowledge your win. Celebrate your win. You deserve it, okay? Clean up this mess. Get this confetti. Get these balloons out, and let's get back to the gym and practice. What's next? What's next? So I'm always a what's next person. I'm always a what's next. I don't set out to achieve goals. I set out to exceed them. I set out to exceed goals. The sky is not the limit for me. The sky is in my way. And so I'm constantly going. But it is important that I mention you do take those times, the moments, to celebrate and acknowledge those wins. Celebrate yourself. Don't wait for other folks to celebrate you. I hear too many people doing, just waiting. I buy myself flowers. Yes, I'm fortunate enough where people do bring me flowers. My daughter and my sister brought me flowers just 2 days ago. When my sister was here visiting in Vegas, she brought me flowers several times. My husband has brought me flowers. So I am blessed where, people give me my flowers while I'm alive. But I give myself flowers. I give myself cards. I will go into the card out and I will purchase myself a card about how I feel about me.
I love it. I love it.
And if you had to ask me for a nice element of success, is knowing what it is and celebrating it, knowing that there's levels to it, and you can keep setting new goals. The success is not a one and done unless you want it to be.
I know that's right. Now, you talk a lot about path to publishing. You've done so much to help authors learn the business of books, but you recently stepped into the publishing side of it. Talk a little bit about that and your vision behind it.
Oh, my goodness, yes. We launched P2P Press. Initially, we were just going to have a hybrid branch of publishing, but P2P Press is our traditional publishing arm. Path to Publishing Presents is supposed to be our hybrid, and we were going to launch our first book The Price We Pay by Nikki T. Anthony. But it was like a diamond in the rough. Our publishing team, we fell so in love with it. It had so much potential. It spoke to so much that had gone on, that was going into society, that we were all in. And we literally wanted to put all of our eggs in one basket. I know folks don't do that, but we literally, that's how much we believed in this project. And we decided if we're going to put all our eggs in one basket, then we need to have, a bigger interest in this project. So that's when we went back to the author and asked her if she'd be willing to consider a traditional book deal versus a hybrid. So we had to, and all honestly, when she said yes, we had to make up a publishing arm, P2P Press Traditional Publishing. So that's how that came about, and the book has launched. It's doing. I mean, it has just. I mean, it's got to be just blessed. It's received so many blessings. That we are so, again, just proud and honored that the author chose to partner with us to be able to share her story. And we're excited about this new endeavor. It wasn't planned. Like I said, we knew and we have been building out our hybrid publishing branch. But we, again, believe in this book so much that we created a whole branch of business, a whole new branch of business, just to be able to be behind this book, to support it and show how much we believe in the mission and the purpose of it.
I love it. Now, is it open for submissions? How can people become part of the movement?
The P2P Press currently isn't open for submissions because, like I said, we literally handpicked this book. So we never intended to have the traditional publishing imprint. And I'll just be, brief in sharing the journey. But the author, she wanted to self-publish. So she started attending our conferences, joining our programs, our newsletters. She even hired us to edit the book. So she went through the entire process. She learned how to be an author. So she knows an author's job description. She knows how to partner with the publisher. She knew that she had to have a marketing plan, and not just a plan, but that she had to put action behind a plan. She had to put action behind that and actually execute it, because you gotta know your role. You gotta know your description and the task involved in being an author, whether you are self-published or traditional. And that's one thing we know we don't want to do, is we want to spend more time and effort in crafting the story, in excellence, in marketing the story, in promoting the story, and putting a movement behind the story than teaching someone how to be an author. So the fact that she invested on her own to come through our programs, our courses, our conferences, and the services we offer to learn how to be an author and how to partner with us, it was like a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. We knew she wasn't going to be the author who felt like the book is out, and just because they put 1,000 posts on social media, they sold 1,000 books, and when they get a royalty where they only sold 100, they go on social media saying somebody's stealing from them.
Oh, Jesus.
We didn't want to experience that. And you've been on social media and in this business long enough to see how, they'll blast the minute their royalty statement doesn't look like what they think it should look like, not realizing that it's the publisher's job to make sure the book is available. It's the publisher's job to make sure they have the distribution channels, that it is available in Target, in Walmart, in the various bookstores, and online. But it's your job as an author to connect to the people to go out and buy it off the shelf. And that's where a lot of authors miss it. That's your job, author. Your job. And they don't realize that. And so you end up with an amazing author and an amazing book, but the amazing book has an amazing author who doesn't know how to sell it. And so that's why we handpick. You know, we handpick. Hopefully we'll get to the point where we're open for submissions, and maybe it'll just be open to our tribe first. And that's okay. We're okay with that. Our hybrid publishing branch, our hybrid publishing arm, Tap the Publishing Presents, that is open, you know, to writers and authors. But the P2P Press, I kind of got a feeling because there's more at stake and we put so much into that it's going to be hand-picked books from our tribe and our community.
I love it. Now, you recently launched your newsletter. Tell everybody about Path to Connections.
Yes, the Path to Connections newsletter. So Path to Connections is our division, which we serve small businesses, entrepreneurs, corporations, government agencies, nonprofits, and other organizations. We focus on making sure they understand that their story is one of the elements and the keys to success. And so we help them with their storytelling. So it's more so the business of storytelling. And in the newsletter, we're sharing what this looks like in the business sense versus the creative sense. Your story could be the information you put on your website, your bio, your personal narrative, your business story, your brand story, and that can include your financial journey on how you bootstrapped your business or how you came about with the funding for your business. Your story could be your product story, the story about your product. It's about who you are, about what you do, about how you do it, about how what you do helps people, about why what you do matters. And so those stories, that helps you get to the core of your business, to the heart of your business. And once you get to the heart of your business, you can get to the heart of your client. It is your story that attracts your audience, the people you're there to serve. If you look at the different competition shows that are on television, it's not always the most talented person who wins, but the person whose story connects to the people who's voting, to the people who are buying, to the people who are choosing. It is their story, that story connection. And so that's what Path to Connections is. And in our newsletter, we're answering questions that people ask us. So say we do a webinar. We've done webinars for SCORE. We've done webinars for the the Nevada SBDC. So a lot of times those Q&As are cut short, but people have so many questions, especially when they're looking at storytelling and writing in a marketing sense with a new lens. And we're a strong believer that if you have the questions, so many other people may have the question too. And this answer may be what sets you apart and catapults you into success. And so in that newsletter, all the questions that people send us or ask us on our webinars and our teachings or any conferences we do that we don't get to live on the spot, we take them and we collect them and we answer every last one of them. And so every week we're answering a question that a real life person asks. I mean, we don't have to go take polls and surveys. We can just ask y'all, what do y'all need? What do y'all want? What do you want to know? And it makes our job so much easier. You let us know what you want to know, your questions, and we take the time, our team, we actually take the time to answer them in that newsletter. And so the newsletter has just been phenomenal. It's blessed so many business owners and entrepreneurs and leaders.
I love it. Yeah, I saw, I think back in October where you posted about the SCORE membership, where you partnered with them to give free business mentorship. It's a free business mentorship program, wasn't it?
It's actually what we do for SCORE is we host free webinars. SCORE, they do have some amazing mentors. SCORE mentors got me through the pandemic. You know, even pre-pandemic, I was always using SCORE as a resource for business. I built my first business plan with a SCORE template. But we partnered with SCORE to teach the business of storytelling and things of that nature. But I am also a SCORE media spokesperson. And right now, at the time of this interview, I'm actually a SCORE success story, and Path to Publishing is on the SCORE national website.
I love it. I love it. Listen, you give so much to us as readers, as authors, as creators. You pour into us, and you support what we do. I know you support me, and I appreciate that. You know, everybody looks for a mentor, but I say you want to look for the blueprint. The blueprint shows you what to do and how to do it, and you are my blueprint, and I appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And you deserve to be supported because you have been one of the biggest supporters in the literary industry. You like a day one supporter, a day one supporting the authors, the writers, the literary artists. So thank you. You deserve to be supported. You deserve some reciprocity, honey.
Now, you're doing so much. You're moving your companies forward. What's next? What's next for you, your books, and your brand?
What's next is that, and stay with me on this because I know it sounds crazy, because it's the last thing you want a business owner to say is we want to be able to serve our fellow literary artists and our fellow business owners at no charge. We want all these services that people have to pay for right now. Our goal is that a government agency will cut the check for you. A corporate partner with maybe their small business or marginalized business initiatives will cut the check for you. We're working very hard toward making sure we secure grant funding and other opportunities that will allow us to serve as subject matter experts in business, that will allow us to operate as an ESO, which is an entrepreneur support organization, so that we can serve and support you regardless of your background, regardless of what is in your bank account. And one of the ways we've been able to, head on that journey and put ourselves on that journey and in a position to be able to do that is by the partnerships we're forming with government agencies and corporate partners and certifications. We're a MBE, a certified MBE, a certified minority business enterprise. We're in the process of being certified as a woman-owned business. So getting these certifications and leveraging these certifications, but once again, creating the connections and the relationships that will allow us to maximize and monetize these certifications and these relationships. We can see ourselves having centers all over the map, centers for our artists, our literary artists, and our artists in general, because, that's a whole market over there, our artists, writers, painters, designers. So to be able to have our assistant centers for our fellow artists as well as our fellow business owners. That is our goal. There's no plan B. We will continue to work and strive so that, again, access everybody with a story to tell, because whether it's a creative story that you're putting in a book or a publication, or your story that you have to put out there to attract your audience, to bring awareness to your brand and clients to your business, regardless of what kind of story it is, we want to make sure you get that story told in excellent and that it connects and speaks to your desired audience and the people who need it. And so that's what we're striving for, to have both of those centers, out there, so that when you come in, you don't have to worry about cutting the check with your last dime to invest. Because, we teach our clients that you've got to be willing to invest in yourself, and you have to be your first investor if you want other people to invest in you.
Yeah, you're right.
But at the same time, we know that not everybody are provided the same opportunities. And that's what we want to change. That's what we're striving to change. That's what we're going to change. I don't let my clients cuss at me with all that. Well, I want to, and I'm trying to. Those are cuss words in our community. So I'm not going to get on here cussing with you. We are doing it. That is yes, we are doing it. And that is what the future looks like for Path to Publishing, Path to Connections, P2P Press, and Path to Publishing presents. and let me just say this one thing. All of these brands, all of these branches of business, we're under one umbrella. It's an umbrella that we don't even, brand or market out there, but it's End of the Rainbow Projects. That's the name of the umbrella. That's the company I incorporated in 2000. And when I incorporated End of the Rainbow Project, we also created an aphorism, and that aphorism is, how long will we continue to wait at the end of the rainbow before realizing that we, in fact, are the pot of gold? That is what I want to instill in everyone we connect with along this journey.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I appreciate you for sharing your time, your space, your energy, and your knowledge with me and my listeners. I want you to shout out your social media where everybody can get connected with Path to Publishing and all of the awesome things you have going on.
Yes, we're on social media, Path to Publishing. You can find Path to Publishing on Facebook, Path to Publish on Twitter, because we ran out of room. It wouldn't let us put the whole publishing thing, and then Path to Publishing on Instagram. Please visit our website, www.path2publishing.com. That's T-O, not the numeral 2, the word 2, www.path2publishing.com. And then for you business owners and entrepreneurs out there and corporations and government agencies who want to connect with the small business owners and entrepreneurs, you can visit us at www.path2connections.com. Again, it's T-O, not the numeral, www.path2connections.com. And please check out our author, Nikki T. Anthony, with her debut novel, The Price We Pay, at www.p2ppress.com. Support the author, support the book, but more importantly, support the movement behind the book.
I love it. I love it. Well, I thank you so very much, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.